What's up, everybody? It's the After Church Show with Greg and friends. Welcome to the broadcast. It's your man GB, the host and producer of the After Church Show, and my little brother from another mother is on my right. What's going on, Massey?
Hey, what's up, brother?
Hey, man, you know how it is.
Yes, sir.
We're just cooling out and doing our thing up in the studio. If you're locked into us, we're on WXSL Street Legal Radio, www.streetlegalradio.com. here in Baltimore City. We got a whole bunch to talk about today, man. Lots of stuff been going on. Lots of things have been happening, so we certainly want to get into it and start talking about it. It's kind of a somber note, but let's really talk about the victims over there in Italy. For those who don't know, there was a huge earthquake over in Italy, and according to BBC News, the death toll as of this morning was 290 people, man.
Jeez.
Just, 290 people so far. It was like a 6.2 magnitude earthquake on the Richter scale, and people said that they felt it as far as 25 miles away. So just imagine the damage that has been done to those families over there. So we want to pray for the families, obviously, over in Italy. We want to certainly pray for the emergency workers. A lot of times the emergency workers are the ones who they get impacted too. The families are certainly hurt.
Right.
But the emergency workers, they have to dig through the rubble. They have to hear the voices. They have to deal with the stress of that. So we want to make sure that we pray for the emergency workers as well, and just pray for that country in general, because this is rough. I mean, that's a lot of people. I mean, we may not think that it's a lot of people as it relates to the size of the country itself. But they've already had a mass funeral where the local mayor and the local officiants had to attend that to bury a whole bunch of people at one time, because they're just finding people in rubble now. So if you have a praying heart, and we pray that you do, just pray for those people who are suffering over there in Italy. And also there were a couple tornadoes in Indiana that caused severe damage this week. So it's a lot of displaced people who are without homes and looking for food and shelter. So we want to always keep our hearts and minds on those people who are worse off than we are. So before you complain, take a look at the news sometimes, because there's always somebody that's got a little bit worse than you. Sadly, there's another incident that we want to pray for, and we want to make sure that we have on our hearts. There were two Catholic nuns, I don't know if you heard this in the news, but two Catholic nuns down in Mississippi that were found dead in their home this week. And according to NBC News, these two nuns were also nurse practitioners. They did a lot of work for the poor, a lot of free labor. They helped out in the community, did a lot of work for poor, disenfranchised folks. But Sister Paula Merrill and Sister Margaret Held, unfortunately and sadly, were both found stabbed to death in their home, and their vehicle was missing as well. So there's no leads right now. They don't have any motive at this point, but it's senseless violence. It looks to be at the moment, it appears to be a random act, but it's senseless violence nonetheless, and it's a huge loss for the community. I mean, they were, according to a lot of news reports and according to a local parish, two beloved individuals who really looked out for the community, giving out shots and helping with health fairs. They were nurse practitioners by trade. In their commitment to God, they were nuns. So we want to pray for them and their families as well, because that's a pretty sad thing. It broke my heart a little bit to read that story, because it seems like sometimes those people who are most focused on doing good, sometimes they get hurt in the middle of things, and that was kind of tough. That was definitely kind of tough. But our prayers are with them, and we want to make sure that we keep them in the forefront of our minds, along with the other people who are suffering as well. On a lighter note, I guess you could call it a lighter note, but something a little more sports related. Did you hear about Colin Kaepernick and what he did this week, Chris?
Yes, I did. I applauded what he did. I mean, like we were saying before in one of our shows, it might have been last week, like when you're on that platform, use your platform. Yeah. And that's all he did. He used his platform. I thought it was great.
Yeah, it was cool. He, for those of you who may not know, Colin Kaepernick is the, well, right now we can't call him the starting quarterback, because he's actually trying to get his job back.
Right,
to
right,
be
right.
honest, I believe it was it a guy named Blaine Gifford? Is that who it is?
Blaine Gifford.
Yeah, he's going against
From
Blaine Gifford
Jacksonville.
for his for the starting position. But either way, he was the former starting quarterback and potential starting quarterback for NFL's San Francisco 49ers.
Blaine
But
Gabbert.
Gabbert, thanks.
Okay.
So this week there was a preseason game, and you know anybody that's been to a sporting event, you know guys, gals, anybody that's been to a sporting event, you know that part of the pregame routine is you know the singing of the national anthem. Sometimes they even have pledge allegiance according to where you are. Right. But the singing of the national anthem is a tradition that's carried out all throughout this country, regardless of the level of sports. It could be a rec ball game for AAU, all the way up to the NBA and beyond. They recognize the national anthem. Mm-hmm. So during the national anthem, during the playing of the national anthem in this preseason game, and I forget what they were playing. I want to say Green Bay, if I'm not mistaken. But prior to the game, they played the national anthem, and you know everybody was doing their thing. They you look
right.
over, and Collins just sitting there.
Sitting down.
Yeah, he would not stand. He didn't have the hand over the heart. He didn't recognize the anthem in any way.
Right.
So of course a lot of controversy came about as a result of that, and you know ESPN was buzzing, FS1 was buzzing, all these sports outlets were buzzing and talking about the fact that Colin just didn't stand up.
Right.
And didn't recognize the national anthem. Side note though, it amazes me how people really go off on this national anthem thing.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, no disrespect to my veterans, to those of us who love the country, because I love this country too. I don't care how bad people say it is. I'm not moving nowhere else.
Right.
Yeah.
We staying right here.
We're staying right here. Yeah. I'm not going to move to a country where they throw rocks at tanks. I'm not going to.
I'm not going to win that battle.
Yeah, I'm not going to move to a country with little to no electricity. You know, we got it good. So
right.
before you start complaining too much,
right.
Just remember where you at.
Right.
Yeah,
remember what you have.
Remember what you have. You know what I mean? But back to Colin. So he was just sitting there. The networks are going off, and everybody wants to know, you know, what the heck. And this is another high-profile athlete that refused to recognize this American tradition. We just talked about last week, I believe it was, where Gabby Douglas didn't put her hand over her heart. We pointed out that even presidential Republican nominee Donald Trump was caught not putting his hand over his heart. But people really get miffed when
right.
you don't, you know, recognize this national anthem.
Right.
So this is another high-profile athlete, and when they asked him about it, I found this to be interesting. There's two things that I actually found to be interesting, Chris. One was the fact that, you know, he used his platform, as you indicated. He used his platform to say what he had to say,
right.
and he put his opinion out there, and we'll get to that in just a second. But the thing that amazed me the most was the fact that both his team and the NFL, at least in the public eye, defended his right to not stand. I found that to be very interesting, because this can be divisive. This can be very divisive, because you've got hardcore fans, you've got hardcore Americans who really think that when you know, say the national anthem and you pledge allegiance to this country, that it is a serious thing.
Right.
So, I think there'll be repercussions. I honestly think that there will be not in your face repercussions, but
right.
behind the scenes repercussions.
Right.
Like somebody might put something in his Gatorade or something like that. You know, he could
be
a little strong.
Right.
But my Gatorade a little strong today.
Right. I mean, he's sitting down anyway, so.
Yeah.
No, please don't put nothing in his drink. No, but
you think there'll be repercussions, man?
I don't know. I mean, you know, looking at the Olympics, I mean, they made a huge deal about Gabby Douglas. Not putting her hand on it.
They did.
And you know, I was watching NFL Network yesterday. They were talking about how, you know, Colin Kaepernick was adopted, and how, you know, he's just.
They just try to pull out anything when you do something wrong.
Yeah, his parents were mixed, and it's just like. But they were saying, just like you said, the NFL came out and said, you know, although we encourage players and teams to, you know, salute the national anthem, but it's not a requirement. And he had a valid point. You know, why am I going to stand for a country that, you know, in his opinion.
Well, I got his direct quote. His
Okay,
direct quote says, he said, "I'm not going to stand up to show pride in a flag for a country that oppresses black people and people of color." Kaepernick went on to tell the NFL media in an exclusive interview that, to me, this is a quote again, to me, this is bigger than football. It would be selfish on my part to look the other way. The bodies in the street, people getting paid leave, and getting away with murder. So he obviously has a very strong opinion on the police brutality issue, because that's what I'm reading into that.
Right. And because they're talking about it, he did his job.
Right.
I'm going to do this so y'all can talk about it. Because, I mean, really, we're sitting here talking about one player that decided to sit down on the national anthem.
Right.
And he may not have known, you know, there's cameras everywhere on that football field. He may not even know. And when they showed the original angle, he looked like a blur with all these other people standing up.
They didn't realize it at first.
Right.
Somebody must have said, hey,
yeah.
you realize Kyle's not standing.
So it's like, you know, I totally agree with his stance. You know, I think this is a wake-up call for America.
Sure.
You know, even down to the women's basketball team,
Mm-hmm.
when they wore those shirts and they were trying to find them.
Yeah, tried to find them.
They tried to find them. It's like y'all handling it wrong. Like the police officers who wouldn't work for Beyonce. So, you know, Minister Farrakhan came out and said, you know, the Freedom of Islam will be in security. Like, y'all shouldn't handle it like that. This should be a wake-up call that America is crying out like, stop defending, you know, bad police officers.
Yeah, bad actions.
Yeah, bad actions. They're good. They're great police officers.
Yeah.
But stop defending the ones that are doing what they're supposed to do, aren't protecting and serve.
Yeah.
You're getting paid by citizens to protect citizens.
Important, very important. Now, he's a Christian athlete, and if people don't know, he's definitely a spoken Christian. He doesn't hide his religious belief, his faith. He indicates that he was raised in a Christian household, and his Christian tenets are the foundation for his life. Do you think that he was wrong from that perspective to do this?
Not at all.
Yeah.
Not at all. I mean, America, they don't recognize God, so it's like
he's on the money.
Yeah. Besides being on the money, it's just like but they're taking them everything out of schools. They take him out of the Pledge of Allegiance.
Oh, he is.
I remember at one point that they took it out.
Wow.
I remember at one point they took it out, and they just make it seem like when you're an athlete, look what they did to Simone Manuel. You know, edited her clips.
We talked about that.
Yeah, it's like, you know,
just try to eliminate stuff.
They just try to eliminate God, and they gave Tim Tebow a hard time.
Yeah, he's another one. He came up in the same article. They actually were talking about Tim Tebow as well. The one that I was reading, it said that they gave, and literally it almost the same exact word. They said he was really run through the ringer basically for his outspoken faith, and they turned his whole kneeling before the game turned into more of a gimmick. Right. People were Tebowing all over the internet.
To him, it was a prayer.
Well,
moment.
He was praying. Yeah, it was a moment of prayer.
We called it Tebowing, and it's like you know, they just anything they can do, or anything, you know, people that believe in God or don't want to hear God.
Yeah.
People have come out and said, I don't want to hear God, you know, when it comes to sports and all that. But you have a platform, use it. That's what Kaepernick did, so I applaud him.
I do too. I commend him.
And I hope other athletes kind of take a stand. I mean, I'm not saying that you don't. If you support the national anthem, then you know do that. But if there's something else that you can do that's taking a stand for justice, then use your platform, do it.
Yeah, I agree. I just found it to be interesting. I just hope that the guy doesn't have any repercussions, because of course people will say one thing while the camera's running, you know, but then they'll be putting like itch powder in his pants and stuff like that. Give him a hard time. So we'll see how it goes. Other things, man. I'm strolling through. You know, I stroll through the internet. You know me, because I'm 9 times out of 10 people, and I'm gonna be honest to you about this. When I'm on the internet looking around, I'm looking for stuff to laugh at, because I think that there's so much humor out there in the things that I find. So a lot of stuff makes me laugh. A lot of stuff really, you know, fires me up, and I start sharing it with friends. And like, did you see this video? Did you see this clip? You know, different things that we have going on to kind of provide humor for ourselves. So in the vein of humor, Chris, I actually saw a picture of one Bishop Eddie Long.
Okay.
And if you guys are, those of you who are listening right now, if you want to go out and you can Google like Bishop Eddie Long's new look. If you want to check this out real quick while we talk about the story, but if you go on the internet right now, or you put in Bishop Eddie Long's weight loss, you'll see a recent picture of the pastor of New Birth Missionary Baptist Church, it's a dramatic weight loss that happened within like 2 months. So the web can be cruel. You know the web can be cruel.
Oh yeah.
It's like a pit bull with no leash sometimes, and it's just roaming around the yard biting who it wants. That's really what some of these social media bullies are. But he looks different, like completely different. He went from, because we all know him as the muscle bound buff pastor from the bathroom scene. That's what we know him as. That's I'm telling the truth. So that's the image you have in your head, the picture. But then when you see him, I mean, he looks like
somebody's old uncle.
He looked like Pookie from New Jack City. That's what it reminded me of. Right? It's not right the way, because he got the. You guys gotta check the picture out, but check the picture out. But according to Black America Web, because they did an interview. According to BlackAmericaWeb.com, he attributes the weight loss to a raw vegan diet that he's now on. So according to him, he's now eating all raw veggies, plant-based. He's gone totally plant-based. Everything is raw, and it's a strict vegan diet, which means there's no animal byproducts whatsoever. So he's not eating stuff that's got milk in it, no cheese, no dairy. He's completely off of all of that stuff. And so according to him, he said that he's doing this because, now get this, this is the part, because see, everything that somebody says, I really listen intently. So he went on to say, and this is the part that trips me out, that he told his congregation that he was going to live to be 100 years old. In an effort to make it to 100, right? He claims that he's not eating what he called the slave diet anymore. So the slave diet, according to him, included Popeye's chicken, honey butter biscuits, things like that. So he said,
slavery, Popeye was
right. Yeah, Popeyes was open back in
it was heavy in the
back in 1700s. But he said,
"Oh my God,
no more slave food." So he wants to improve his health. So he claims that he's no longer on blood pressure medication. He's feeling a lot healthier. He told his congregation he was going to live to see 100 years old. So now the internet can be cruel. So a lot of suspicions are being raised at this time about his health. Yeah. Now, of course, what they tying it to.
Of course.
We ain't got to go all into that.
No, we don't.
But they tied it into some previous history and some, we'll call them accusations.
Yeah, allegations.
Saying that he is now reflecting his choices. Right. His body is now reflecting his choices. So. Right. I don't know. I can't say. I know that you can lose weight quickly. I know people that have gone vegan. I know people that have done the plant-based diet. And within 60 days, I have not seen that big of a difference. I don't know. I mean, maybe I'm wrong with this, Chris. I can't say. But my whole point is, I don't know if this is legitimate or not.
Right. I mean... I'm looking at the picture and it's like...
Yeah, you see the picture, right?
Come on, bro. Even his chest went down. That just tells me that them steroids that you were taking, you decided to stop taking. Mm-hmm. Maybe a doctor was telling you, like, look...
It's killing you, man.
You just need to go in.
You about to do the WWF.
I mean, you ain't flexing your arms, but your vein about to pop up. I mean, just be real with it, man.
Yeah.
Just be real with it. Don't come out and say that you've been on this extreme vegan diet and you're going to live. You don't know how long you're going to live.
Right.
You know that. As a preacher, you should know we don't know the day, the time, or hour that we going to live to, and when God is going to come back. So Jesus is going to come back. So, I mean, look at yourself in the. You like taking mirror selfies. Look at yourself.
You say like himself.
Just be real. I mean, if he's eating better, and that's what him and his doctor talked about,
then fine. That's a good thing.
That's fine. But come on, man. All you did was stop juicing.
That's all.
And,
that's what I was thinking. He was real big, like Hulk Hogan.
Had the about to come out. I don't even know how he got a shirt on.
Right. He even wore preaching robes that were sleeveless.
Yeah.
Because of that.
You just want to show your arms.
Got the guns out.
Yeah.
Got the guns out. Preaching, bro.
Right.
The pythons, brother.
Right. We got
24-inch pythons, brother.
We got first and second service, and then we got the gun
gun
show.
show after the second service.
Right, gun show after the second service.
But listen, check this out. In true Eddie Long style, at the end of the video, now this is where it all comes full circle. This is where it all comes full circle for me. Right at the end of the video, this is his quote: "The muscles are coming back, baby." That's how he ended the video. So it's like, come on, man. You gotta get yourself together, Eddie. You gotta get yourself together, because all he's doing is giving us more stuff to laugh at,
right.
and when he should be giving us.
He took the pad piece off because he balled down.
Well, yeah, that didn't happen. That had a tie in the back, didn't it? Like you could
I don't even know.
had like a shoestring around it, and you could, to make sure it wouldn't come off. Man, he gonna get us in all kinds of trouble. Anyway, if you just tuned in, you tuned in to right. Tell your bishop start wearing that rug on his head, right. and we will leave him alone.
Right.
Oh man, if you just tuned in, you tuned into the After Church Show with Greg and friends. We're live in the studio, WXSL Street Legal Radio, www.streetlegalradio.com. Please check out our website, www.theafterchurchshow.com, and also check out our social media connections as well. When we come back from the break, we're going to read the ACS question of the week and the poll results, so you can know exactly what your opinion was on our question of the week. Stay tuned, stay locked to WXSL Street Legal Radio. We'll be right back in just a moment.